Hello and welcome everybody to episode 20 of the CreaLien Design Podcast, a podcast about knitting and spinning and my crafty life in general. My name is Eline and I'm coming to you from Rotterdam in the Netherlands, where I live with my cat Joop, a big fat chubby British short hair. And yeah, you can find me online as CreaLien Design basically everywhere. I'm CreaLien Design on Ravelry. Ravelry is also where I have all the project pages, so if I forget to talk about anything in specific, you can always check Ravelry first, because it's very likely that the information is there. And you can find me on Instagram as CreaLien Design, and I'm CreaLien Design on Etsy, where I sell my hand-dyed yarns as CreaLien Design Yarns. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and everything is linked down there in the description box underneath the screen in YouTube. So today it's the 11th of April 2020. And yes, it's the middle of the corona crisis, but I'm not going to talk too much about it. Everybody knows how it is. We are not supposed to go outside unless you have a really good reason. And other than that, I'm healthy. Luckily, I hope you are healthy and that you're staying healthy. And I hope to bring you a little bit of entertainment perhaps today. For over the Easter weekend. It's the Easter weekend, and there's not much Easter going on. We're not supposed to go outside, we're not supposed to see anyone, so it's Easter at home. Well, that's alright for me. This whole corona crisis, to be honest, it doesn't change too much for me. I really like to be alone and be alone inside. Not much has changed. For me, at least. But yeah, I can imagine that it impacts many of you. So, yeah, I have been away for a while. Not literally, but away from here. It wasn't on purpose, but the last time I recorded was, I believe, in January. Yeah, it was in January, and I wanted to record like 2 weeks after the previous podcast, but then I really wanted to record, but I didn't have anything to show, and I was like, yeah, this is not going to work if I don't have anything to show. And then life got busy, and then at some point I did have stuff to show. And then it got warm outside, and I can record during the day because they are doing in our streets. They are renewing the sewer system, so everything is broken open, and during the day, it's pretty loud. Yeah, but I thought now is a good time to record, so why not go sit down and show you what I've been working on. It's a lot, so I will try to make this not too long of an episode, but we all know how good I am at that. So let's start off with a finished object. I don't expect you to remember anything from the last episode since it's been such a long time, but maybe you do. And if you do, then this finished object is not a surprise. Ta-da! These are my Julenatt mittens. They are a pattern by Skeindeer Knits. On Ravelry, Ellie, she also has the Skeindeer Knits podcast. Yeah, I'm really happy with these. I think they turned out really, really fun. And I finished them already in January, so I've been wearing them quite a bit. And I have to say, they are warmer than I expected, even during my bike rides. Well, if you're on a bike, you have the wind hitting your fist, right? And I was expecting have the wind blow right through it and be cold anyway, but the wind doesn't, it's still warm. The only thing I'm not a big fan of is the thumb, because it has this gusset thing on the front, well, back, but you know, not on the side, but on the palm side. That just doesn't really work for me, because if I have my hand like this, or if I'm using my hand, I have my thumb on the side and not on the front. My anatomy is not like that. Now, I know that knitting is stretchy and all that stuff, but look, it sits fine like this, but as soon as I start using it, my thumb, like when I'm grabbing the handle of my bike, it starts going to the side. And what I notice is that this is starting to pull in to my hand like this, so that I have the thumb gusset on the side. And then it sits like this, but I can feel that it's not correct. Like, it's like I wear my hair with a seam here, but if I do it here, it doesn't feel right, you know? And it's sort of the same. It's just not in the right place. You can feel it. And I don't really like that. So I think it's perfect for just going out walking, because then you're not doing anything with your thumb. So yeah, it doesn't really matter then. But for cycling, I would prefer a mitten with a gusset on the side. Now, I think this is pretty easily adjustable, but it's a good thing. Now I know for the future. But they fit perfectly fine. I think I might go up a quarter needle size if I were to knit them again, which I think I will, but then I will do something about the gusset. I will make it come out from the sidelines up here, I think. What I did differently from the pattern, I changed the chart here for the cuff, and I mirrored so that the deer, so that the deer are facing each other instead of going after each other. Like, I cannot do it. But yeah, finished mittens. Yarn was a yarn that I thought about adding to the shop, but now I'm not so sure. It's nothing to do with yarn, but it's just I don't know. It's not my. I don't. I don't know. I don't know. But I dyed the pink myself, and it's white tessellaar wool. So it's a Dutch sheep breed from Dutch sheep that are grazing in Drenthe, I believe, which is a province of the Netherlands. So near the German border. Yep. Really, really like them, but the fit is not perfect for me on a bike. But yeah, doesn't matter, right? I don't care. I really don't care. I'm really happy with the mittens, and they are nice and warm, and they look fantastic. Ooh, don't put lipstick on it. Okay, then I have another finished object, which is, oh, I forgot to grab my sock blockers. Well, alright, I will have to do it like this. That's okay. You can still see what a sock looks like, right? You know what a sock looks like. This is one, and this is two. We have a finished pair of socks. The yarn is my own hand-dyed yarn. This was my Christmas colorway, Kiss Me Under the Cherry Tree. I think it's really Christmassy, modern Christmassy, but at the same time I feel like it's perfect for spring as well. So yeah, I will wear these. And I did put in afterthought heels on both. I knit all my socks the same way, basically, just toe up, and there's no pattern for it or anything, and a 2x2 ribbed cuff, because I feel like that stays up the best. And this is an afterthought heel because I didn't want my stripes to be interrupted really. And for afterthought heels, Amy Florance from the Stranded podcast has a really good tutorial on them if you are interested. So yeah, a really fun pair of socks. Yay! I really like them. I think they're really cheery and fun, and yeah, I like them. So then I want to show you something because I taught my boyfriend how to knit. It was in December, I think. I think it was around December because my boyfriend wanted to he wanted to learn how to knit so that he could help me knit boot samples for my yarn show. I was going to have my first yarn show in the first weekend of June, but I don't think it will go. I don't think it will, it will be happening because of the Corona crisis. But hey ho, it takes time to learn how to knit. So he learned in December. I taught him how to knit, and he knitted a shawl for a cowl for his grandmother for her birthday, and it's finished. And it's a CreaLien Design yarn that I dyed, so I don't have this yarn in my shop or anything. I don't remember exactly what I did and what colors I used, but I think it turned out really fun. And I think my boyfriend he was really picking it up like so easily. I just did a stitch on my work to show him how to do it, and then he could do it. And also, I didn't knit a single stitch on this. I didn't do the cast on, I didn't do the bind off. Sure, there are some tiny little mistakes, but I think overall it turned out really great. And this is the project. And it has been blocked and everything, but it's also been folded, so these creases are from it being folded. We didn't use a pattern, I just made it up. I made him cast on just a number of stitches. I was like, oh, you can cast on this amount of stitches. And then he was knitting a little bit. And I was like, oh, you can increase every so many stitches, increase the stitch. And he picked that up really well as well. And we did that. And it looks a bit like a skirt, a little girl's skirt. But well, let me show it from up close. Look how neat those stitches are. Like a pretty impressive, right? So let me put it on for a second. And it has gold sparkles. Did you see the sparkles? I don't know if you can see it. No, you cannot really see it, I think, but it has gold sparkles. And it's a really lovely, like, salmon color, but muted. I don't know, it's really pretty, I think. I think his grandmother will love it. So, I don't want to put my lipstick on it, so I'm trying to. It's a wool nylon blend, it's not superwash wool, but I think his grandma will just like lay this around her shoulders a bit, and then it can stay up. You can cover over your ears or even over your head. And I'm kind of sad that I didn't write the pattern down because I think it's the perfect cowl, right? It stays up a bit and it fits really nicely. I think it will be really, really great. I like it. I think his grandmother will love it. Her birthday has been, and we were going to go. Sorry about the music, but it's really warm and I have my windows open and I live in a really noisy area, and although we're supposed to stay inside, not many people do so. it's really crowded. It's pretty crowded here on the streets, and I don't understand it. And police are handing out fines, but still, so many people. Anyway, yeah, really lovely shawl. I really like it. I would like to keep it for myself. I'm not going to. But yeah, we were going to give it to her on her birthday, but we couldn't go. We had train tickets, but it was like in the beginning of, it wasn't really beginning of Corona here in the Netherlands, but there were warnings already, like you better not go outside if you don't have to. So we decided not to go. We had to go by 5 trains. So there are chances every time you're in a train and you're on a train station that you pick up something. And we don't want to give his grandparents or anyone else anything, and not ourselves either. So we decided not to go. And now it's been his grandfather's birthday also, but he's knitting socks for him. He really is. It's so cool. So yeah, that's the shawl. The cowl, basically. I really like it, and I'm really proud of my boyfriend that he did that. So that were the finished objects. Now I have a ton of whips, and I'm going to go through them pretty quickly because, you know, time. So I'm just gonna grab project bags and see what's in there. I'm not sure of all of them what's in there, but this is a project bag. All of these are made by me or just store-bought like toiletries bags. Yeah. Oh, did I show these on the last episode? I'm not sure. But this is, can you guess? You can guess, right? What this, let's start from the beginning. Okay, this yarn is a self-striping yarn that I dyed. I also have it in my shop on my gold sparkle base. Yeah, now you can see sparkles. And the name is Castle Life because Harry Potter. Duh! Slytherin, Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff. I was thinking about putting, like, the Ravenclaw grey is silver, is only from the films, and in the books it's actually copper, bronze, but I didn't have the right color. I couldn't find the right color, so I went for silver, but I think that looks really nice. So yeah, this is just one repeat. I'm just starting Hufflepuff again. I should work a bit more on this. I think it's fun. These are just sample socks that I was knitting for the yarn festival. Well, yeah, let's call it a yarn festival. But now it's not going to continue probably. So I don't know. I will work on it because I want these socks. But it's not like there's no time pressure on it for now. So I'm working on some other stuff as well. So that was the first work in progress. Let me see if I can make some sort of stack that won't collapse. Oh, we can see what's in here. This is my super sparkly project bag that's actually a toiletries bag. And in here, this is a Rainbow Fever. Rainbow Fever. Look at that, my friends. Dun, 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 dun. This is so cool. This is super neon. Like, really, really neon, but you cannot really see it on the screen, I think. But this is Rainbow Fever, and I think it looks so cool. This is the cake. My cakes are always a bit messy, but that's because I have an antique wool winder that I inherited from someone who inherited it. So I'm putting in an afterthought heel here at the white line in the yellow. And I'm going to make these long because I want them to be visible above my shoe. I want everybody to be able to see my rainbow socks. But the thing is, I was actually knitting with my shop samples. I want them for myself. I want to just be able to wear them, you know. I want rainbow sock. So what I'm thinking of doing is just finishing this sock for myself. And for shop sample, just knit a rainbow, just one repeat. It doesn't have to be a sock or anything, right? I can just make a tube with the whole repeat once, and that's fine too. I think it would be fine for me if I see something like that in a shop. Anyway, I really like these, and I want them really long, and I want them to be visible for everyone because they're really, really cool. Who doesn't want some neon socks, right? Okay, what do we have here? This is a project bag that I bought at I Knit or Die in London, which doesn't exist anymore, as far as I know. Oh, yeah. So I had dyed a sock blank ages ago, and I decided that it was a good idea to like just completely knit up the sock blank into a sock or into a long tube, a sock snake, as Amy would say. I don't have a sock knitting machine, so it would go by hand. Knit it up completely and then put in afterthought heels, cuffs and toe everywhere. So I'm just gonna knit a long tube, then cut it in pieces because it's a single-stranded sock blank and I couldn't decide which parts I wanted for the socks, because when I knit socks I only need about 50 grams for a pair, so I could easily make 4 socks out of this. But now that I'm going to do contrasting heels, toes and cuffs, I can make 5 full socks out of this, or 2 full socks, 2 a little bit shorter socks and 2 short socks. I'm just gonna knit a tube forever and then we'll see. So this is, let me untangle it a bit. This is the sock blank. And la la la, look closely at that. Oh, I love it so much. And this is the back. So what I decided to do is put in some markers. Like this is quarter, this is the halfway point here, approximately. That's no exact science. And here is the other quarter. And I thought I'd put that in so that I just, I have some estimate of how far I am. So I'm not far at all. So, ta-da! This is what I have. So I cast it on in a contrasting color because I'm going to frog this in the end, and then I can just put in toes, heels and cuff there. So I have this on this side, and this is the other side, and I think it looks really, really fun. Look how fun! I think it's cool. And of course, the yarn is crinkly, so my stitches look really uneven, but as soon as this is washed and blocked... Can you please go? Thank you. Thank you. So, wow, what did I do? Okay, so but as soon as this is washed, it's going to even out. All of it is just going to be. But I love it that there's a pop of pink here, and then it seems sort of stripy. Yeah, I think it's really really cool. So, but this is a long-term project because I know for a fact that this is going to bore me after a while. Doesn't matter how much fun I think this sock blanket is and how cool all these colors are and all these speckles and stuff. I know for a fact that this is going to bore me after a while, but I just want this. I just want to do it. So it doesn't matter if it takes me forever or a couple of years. But you know, I knitted this in just one day just to see how it would look. So, and this is about an eighth. So if I have 8 days, I can have the tube finished. If I would knit on it for 8 days, which I won't. This is gonna take me forever. Just so you know. Don't expect this to, you know, be finished next week or something. Okay, what do we have next? Also one that I made with unicorn galore. Yeah, unicorn yarn in a unicorn project bag. This is my self-striping yarn in the Rainbow Breeze colorway. I had to cast them all on because I love them so much. And I was so curious to see how they knit up. So, yay! Look how awesome this is. Look at that. Oh, I love it so much. This is where I'm putting in my afterthought heel on this one. Look at that. Just, I love these so much. I have to work on these a bit more. You know how I'm saying that about every project? I want a sock. I want this sock. This is awesome. I love it. Well, and I don't have anything else to say about it, really. It's my Rainbow Breeze colorway on my smooth sock base, in case you were interested. Okay, what do we have next? That's the tram, and it's ringing its bell because someone apparently found it necessary to cross the tram rails. Isn't it nice having the windows open and just experience what I experience all day long? Sorry. Oh yeah, I don't know if I'm going to show this. It doesn't do the pattern justice, and it doesn't do my knitting justice. It's horrible. Okay, so Fikavera from she's Fikavera on Etsy and on Ravelry and on Instagram, and she has some lovely patterns, and she published a new pattern collection. They are Moroccan inspired from her holidays to Morocco. And they're really lovely patterns. And there was one that I just wanted to cast on right away. And I hadn't thought really about colors or whatever. I just wanted to cast on something and it didn't matter how it looked. So, yeah, I think I'm going to frog this because I'm not liking it. The pattern is brilliant. It's beautiful and I really, really like the pattern. But my yarn choice, bad choice. Yeah, let me show it. It's embarrassing almost. Like, this is it. Isn't it ugly? Oh my word. Yeah. So what I'm using a green that I once dyed. No particular colorway or anything. This is from my very early days in dyeing. This is a gradiating skein that was once a sock blank that I dyed before CreaLien Design. This is just recreative stuff, discovering dyeing. I think I dyed this. When would I? It was in my previous house, and I didn't live there for that long when I dyed this. I don't know. It's at least 5 years old. I think 6 or 7 years old is probably more accurate. And then we have a needle that's going places. Let me pick it up because I'm going to forget about it otherwise. That was a flying needle. But this is the last yarn that I'm using. Scheepjes Invicta Glamour. I don't think this is produced anymore. These three, creating this, not a success. This is, I have the pattern. Let me see if there's a picture that I can show you. Oh yeah, this is the front page on Ravelry, so I should be able to show you this. Look how brilliant those socks are. I really like them, and I am going to knit them again, but not in these colors. Look at this. Just this section, like this bit. It's like a football club, like a soccer club. This a sports club of some kind. It's not pretty. Well, I don't find it pretty. If you find it pretty, that's all fine. You are allowed to find it pretty. I don't find it pretty, and I'm going to forget. I'm going to forget because I'm not liking it at all. So let's put it all in here with the flying needle. Why? There's a needle too many. Oh, that's why I couldn't find that needle. Ah, now I understand. Anyway. So, oh yeah, and this is her name, Vera. She has a lovely Instagram feed. She also dyes yarn and she designs patterns. I have already said that. Oh, and she sells handspun yarn. So if you're looking for handspun yarn, Vera. I think her name is Mia Dane. No, not. Or is it? I'm not sure. I don't know. Look for Vera and you'll find her. And what have... Oh, let me first do the other one. This is also a project bag I made. And in here is living another sock that I'm knitting for a friend. Because my friend, we have been friends since I was 6 and she 4 or 5, I think. And she became my backdoor neighbor, basically. And we're still friends. And she asked me if I would knit her a pair of socks. So my answer was, of course I will knit you a pair of socks. Would you like to dye the yarn yourself? So she came before Corona. Don't worry, I'm not meeting with friends. And she came by and we dyed some yarn together. She really enjoyed it and I enjoyed it and it was fun. And we created some really pretty yarn, which is probably not... Oh, it's showing up pretty okay. This, every time I try to take a picture of it, it just colored. It's just turning this liver color and it won't photograph well, but it looks pretty okay here on screen. Look at all those colors, and I've just turned the heel, and I should really work some more on this so that she can actually use them after Corona, so that she can go back to her yoga. think it looks pretty. She likes them too. Yeah, this is the color. You see, it's an overall sort of liver color that doesn't look pretty at all. This is how it looks. Sorry, this is how it looks when I'm trying to photograph it. But I'm really glad that it's showing up pretty okay here. It's really pretty in real life. So that's a sock with all sorts of markers. But yeah, it's fun, right? I think it's really fun. And it was fun to dye some yarn with her. And she was curious to see how Dye Studio works and all that kind of stuff. And this morning, actually, I took my boyfriend to dye some yarn. So we dyed some yarn together, and he made some autumnal colors, autumnal colorway, and it's with orange and a deep yellow and a brown and with lots of speckles, and it's very autumnal. Really the right season to dye up some autumnal yarn, but doesn't matter, he wanted those colors, so that was what we did. So the next one is pretty cool. I think it's a pullback. Remember that Vertices Unite I was knitting? Yeah, I was on section 3, and then after that I was on section 3, and after that I was on section 3. I finally finished section 3 because I started knitting section 3. What did you? Okay, the Vertices Unite is made out of 5 colors, and color A, B, C, and D I'd already picked out before I started, and I couldn't decide on a color E. And I thought, well, when I'm knitting, I will be able to see how the colors work together, and I will be able to choose color E. And I got to color E, and I couldn't pick a color. So I started knitting in a color. I don't remember what colorway it was. And I was like, nope, not what I want. And then so I frocked it and knitted it again in a different color. And I was about halfway through, and pretty early from the beginning I knew that it wasn't really the right color, but I was like, yeah, but I like the color so much, so I'm just going to do it and it will work out just fine. And then at some point, and throughout the whole thing, I was like, I don't think it looks so well with the other colors, but the color is so nice and I'm already this far. And then I was about halfway and I was like, what am I doing? You know, why am I doing this to myself? It's not working out. Let's just frock the whole thing. So I frocked it back, and then I knitted it again, and now I'm finally happy with how section 3 looks, and I've even knitted section 4, and I'm ready to start section 5. This is, by the way, another of my own handmade by me project bags. This bag, what you're going to experience now, is more like a top hat from a magician, because, well, you'll see what's coming out. Like, la la la, la la la, la la la, la la la, la la, more is coming, more is coming. And more and more and more and more and more. Yeah, there we have it. Well, hit myself in the face there. So, Vertices Unite. We all know Vertices Unite, right? Pattern by Stephen West with all the colored blocks. Let me go a bit backwards because I'm knitting the large size, and it's large. But I like a big shawl. So, this is what we have. See, it's pretty massive already, and I've just finished four of the 6 sections. So this blue one is Glacier, and this is section 3. And you might not think that, but it's pretty big. It takes forever, basically. It's also the most boring section because you're just knitting a square and each row is like 95 stitches something. It's pretty big. And then it's in garter, so it's squishes up. It's like, it's bigger than it looks. Like it's, yeah, it's big. And now, so I have section 4. I made section 4 in banana peel. I love that colorway, and it looks like a banana peel, and I just love how it looks. Really like this one. And this is Glacier, which I also really like. Really pretty. And section 1 was Loulou on a sparkle base. This is Loulou. And the yellow one is Hot Blondie. And here in section 2 we have the yellow one is Banana Peel, which is this one. And the blue one is Mossy Bridges, which is this one. And now for needle. And now for the next section, which will be striped this way, I will use Mossy Bridges and Loulou together. And I think that's going to be really nice, because you know what I noticed, maybe you've noticed also, is this is pretty green, this is sort of orangey pink, we have blue, we have yellow, then these two together are going to be sort of purpley. I think we have the whole spectrum of a rainbow, sort of. It's going to be sort of a rainbow, right? Right? You see it? You see it? Look, and if there's going to be sort of a purple up there, don't you think that's going to be awesome? Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty cool. And for the border, there's going to be a border all around the whole thing, and it's going to be an I-cord. And I said previously that I thought that I'm not going to do it in I-cord because I don't like knitting I-cord. So I thought about doing a crochet border, but yeah, I think I'm going to go for the I-cord. I think it looks the prettiest. And then I've put all the work into making this thing sort of pretty. And I don't want to just... I think I should take the time to finish it off neatly. Yeah. So I think I'm just going to go for an I-cord border around it. Yeah. And oh, I did say the colorways, but they're all my own hand-dyed yarns. I'm sorry that everything is my own hand-dyed yarn today. Was it? Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But it's just that I like my own yarns, and I have basically a yarn shop in my house. It's my own yarns, but it's like a yarn shop, you know. Like I look at those shelves and I'm like, oh, what shall I pick? And then I like what I make, which I guess is a good thing. I don't want to sell things that I don't like, right? So yeah, so I work with my own hand-dyed yarns. And yes, I do have hand-dyed yarns from other dyers as well, but I do have them on the needles, but I haven't worked on those projects recently. But they will be back, they will be back. So, let's put this away, put the needle there, see if I can close it. It is pretty full now. And then, my last work in progress, it's a new one. There's fluff. Accurate, because it's the Fluff Sweater by Eline from the Skeindeer Knits podcast, and Skeindeer, who also designed those mittens. and this is her sweater, and this is the second sleeve. The pattern is called Fluff. Yeah, and it's a top down, and you cannot see it, but it's the neonest of neon. Yeah, it's so neon, and I'm holding it together with Holst Super Soft in the colorway Scots Pine, and this is brushed alpaca silk from drops that I dyed in neon yellow. You cannot get it from drops in neon yellow. You can get it in lots of colors, but not in this color. So I just dyed it because I had actually bought the blush pink because I thought it's this color basically, and I thought it would go really well with this brown. But let me show you the swatch that I made. It's not for me. This is not for me. It's so pale. When I hold this against my skin, I look like Snow White. I just look sick, right? It doesn't look good with my skin color. It just wasn't working, and I didn't get gauge. So then I decided, well, let's take some of this yellow, which I had already dyed some skeins of because I was going to knit a Starflake shawl with this. Didn't happen. Will happen someday. Maybe not in this color, but it will happen. So then I knitted a swatch to try and get gauge with the other color, and this is what it is. And I got gauge. I don't know, did I go up or down needle size? I'm knitting on. Let me see if I can find my needle somewhere, and if it's still printed on me. 4 millimeters. I think the pattern called for 4.5. But I didn't get gauge with 4.5, so I'm knitting on 4. And this was the swatch, and I got gauge, and I liked this combo so much better. But then the pattern has a really, really, really high neckline. It was really like this high. I cannot wear that. I feel choked really easily, and if a shirt is like this, I keep pulling it down always. So my shirts have to be like at least this low, and sweaters and other stuff as well. So the pattern had it really high, but it's worked top down, and it has a really interesting shoulder shaping. Like this is the front, and this is the shoulder, and you have like this seam. See if I can show it better. Yeah, there's a seam growing on the shoulder, and that evolves into a shoulder cap. And you see that it looks like a satin sleeve. It's not really visible with my yarn, but you see here, there's a seam going on this sleeve, by the way. Let me prove that it finished. And I ended with orange because I thought it was cool. But what I did to lower the neckline is, instead of, if you knit a raglan, this is just basic like every raglan, the neck shaping, so I'm not giving anything away with that. You increase on the sides, on this side, to close for the neckline every other row. So on the one side row on this side, and at the end of the row on this side. And what I did was not increase every other row, but every fourth row. And therefore I lowered the neckline pretty drastically. But I wasn't I had two options what I could do. I could just knit straight for longer before increasing the rate from the pattern, or what I did increase at a slower rate. And that's what I did. I increased at a slower rate. And what I did was it creates a neckline that's like going like this, but like it wants to be a V-neck, and then it becomes a bit of a rounded neck down here. Now I think that will be okay with once I put in the color, but still it's still quite high in neckline for me, especially if I'm going to put the ribbing in here. So I will knit this pattern again because it's a super quick knit. I started this in March and it's just beginning of April. It's a super quick knit and I'm really liking it. It's very enjoyable. It's an interesting construction. But what I will do next time is I will put in a steek here and wait with the increases for longer so I can make the neck, so the neckline stays wide, and I can make it and do the increases at her rate, at the rate of the pattern, but at a lower point. And I think that will give me more like a scoop neck, more like this, which I think I will prefer. So for now, I'm super happy with this, and I will see how it wears and how I like the neckline. Maybe I will just do this again, but I think it will be still be quite snug. And about steeking, I just wanted to know if I thought I would be able to steek it, because this is 100% wool and this is a brushed alpaca silk. Now, alpaca on its own, I wouldn't steek it. I wouldn't steek it because it's a slick fiber. The same goes for silk. It's a slick fiber. So I thought that the brushness, the fluffiness of this yarn would make it steekable, but I wanted to be sure. So for if I'm going to knit this sweater again, I'm just going to use the same yarns but in different colors, right? So I steeked, and I steeked this a month ago, and look how well it's holding up. It's definitely steekable. I washed it, of course, but just like soak it, 10 minutes later, take it out, lay it on the radiator to dry, steek. But look how it's holding up. It's not going anywhere. Like, I can stretch this and it will just stay. Same goes for here. Like, I can stretch it. I can do anything with it. And it won't unravel. It's just, it stays put. So I can just, put in a steek next time, so that I can work in around, because it was pretty annoying to having to do these increases here for the shoulder that you do every round, doing them on the wrong side, like on the purl side, making an increase look right on the right side. It's pretty annoying. So I'd rather not do that. So if I put in a steek here, I can just work this thing in the round and cut it open later and then put in a neckband. So, but yeah, I'm pretty pleased with this. I think it's going to be cool. If I have enough of the orange, I will definitely do it on this side too. I will do the neckline with the orange, but I'm not sure if I will have enough to do it at the bottom hem. But I think if I still have a bit left, I might just do the bind off with the orange or something like that. I think would be fun to have a little something there. And what I was also thinking, if I then still have something, and the reason I'm saying this is because they are just 25-gram balls, and this is all there is now. It's not a lot. I'm not sure from my head. Is there a label? Yeah, I have a label here. No, and a needle. It is 25 grams and 140 meters, and I've already done one cuff. I'm going to do a second cuff, then I'm going to do the neckline, and I think that the 140 meters will be used. But like I said, if I then still have some left, I might top stitch, duplicate stitch a little heart here. I think that would be pretty cool. Just a little accent, a little heart here. I think that would be cool. I should do it on the left side because my heart is on the left side, but I think it looks cool on the right side. Doesn't matter. I don't think I will have enough yarn left anyway, so it doesn't matter at all. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with this. I think it looks pretty cool. And the sweater is called Floof, and it's originally, the pattern is knit with, I'm using alpaca silk, but the pattern is with mohair silk. But I didn't have mohair, and I had alpaca, so I went for alpaca. And I like alpaca. Alpaca is soft and warm, and I like it. I like it. So that was quite a bit of knitting, and we're still under an hour. Wow, that was all the knitting I had. The last thing I have is some spinning. Yes, I've been spinning those Christmas bobbins that I was spinning the singles for. Those are being plied, but they are being plied on my my big wheel, my kiwi. So I cannot really take that off right now because it's in the process of being plied. But I will show you once it's finished. And yeah, I will probably post about it on Instagram as well, so you can always check that out. But I have been spinning on the project that I said I would be spinning next. Or no, it was on my bobbin, on my wheel, but I wanted to spin it on my nano. So once those bobbins from my nano were finished, I would take the yarn from the other bobbin, put it on a nano bobbin, so I could spin it on my nano. Wow, that was complicated. Anyway, let me show you what we've got. Yeah. Ta-ta-ta! Look. Let's see if you can see some more of it. Not really. I'm spinning quite fine. I could chain ply this for a sock yarn, but I'm going to two ply it. It is a superwash merino nylon. I'm going to two ply it because I'm spinning it sort of worsted, woolen I mean. I'm spinning it woolen, semi-woolen, and so I'm catching a lot of air, and I think it will be a really nice and bouncy and squishy yarn if I two ply it. Also if I three ply it, of course, but if I two ply it, I have more meters, and if I have more meters, I might be able to use it for like an actual pretty sizable project and not just for socks. I could knit socks out of it still, but at a tighter gauge, I guess. And the fiber I'm using is Pixie yarns. Let me take it out of the bag. It's a beautiful braid in the Peace Blossom colorway. I've shown you this before. It's so pretty. It's just a pastel pink, like my Loulou color, basically the same color, but it has all of these speckles, and it's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. And I know that if you spin speckles, you won't see speckles. But that doesn't really matter because it's still giving some color to the yarn. Because as you can see all these colors, all the variation in there. Like this is a bit more blue purplish, and here is some gold brown kind of color going on, and I think it's really pretty. I really like it. It's a really nice color. Yeah, I think that's it, guys and girls. yeah, that's all I had to show you. So I hope you enjoyed this speedy episode. But yeah, I hope it gave you a bit of like distraction from what's going on right now. And you know, if you cannot celebrate Easter, you have to have something to do with your time. So I hope this was something that you enjoyed. I hope you're all staying safe and well, and that your loved ones are safe and well. And I hope to see you again soon, because it was a long time, right? I don't want to wait that long again. So until I see you again, stay safe, stay well, stay inside, and see you soon. Bye!